doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out the Steady Thumb Blues Primer. I really like this style of solo blues guitar that you can play by yourself. You don't need any singing and it sounds like the whole piece is all together. I wrote a series of blues arrangements for solo guitar about 20 years ago. I'm revising them all, and one of the things that I've realized is that some of them needed a little bit more preparation. Jumping straight into the full one was pretty challenging for most people. So this one is the primer for the Steady Thumb Blues. And the Steady Thumb Blues and this primer is all about getting a nice consistent thumb motion playing on the beat while you add in some lead lines. The idea is that by learning these arrangements, it'll help you be able to improvise in that style and or use my arrangements as a kind of foundation and swap out the licks and end up making up your own solo blues arrangement. In the description below, you'll find a link that'll take you over to the website, and we're trialing this awesome new feature where we've got an interactive tab that can listen to you play and help you know where you went wrong. And for this style of thing where you've got to get that real consistent bass part, really helpful to know if you're doing it right on time, if you're dragging a little bit or rushing. You know, that kind of feedback can be really helpful. So do click that link below and go and check that out. When you're learning an arrangement where there's a consistent pattern played with the thumb, the key thing here is to notice when the melody notes are played either with the thumb or between the thumb strokes. I'd suggest you learn it one bar at a time, the way I'm going to explain it to you. Make sure you nail each bar and then join it onto the stuff that you've practiced previously. Remember, it's always going to be better to have it in your memory. However, I think looking at the sheet music while you're learning things like this can be really helpful, kind of following along with your eyes where you're playing, where that beat is, to kind of remind yourself whether those notes are coming right on the beat or in between. For the intro, we're going to start with a harmonic at the 12th fret on the thicker string. You're going to let that ring out, and then on the 5th string, you're going to play 5th fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, open. And then we're going to play this 3rd fret on the thicker string. Obviously the harmonic probably won't be ringing out all of that time, but maybe most of it. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're into the arrangement proper. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. For the intro, we want all of those notes ringing loud and clear, but as soon as we introduce this idea of having a melody part as well, I think it sounds pretty cool to add a little bit of palm mute on that bass note. So once we start, we're just going to use this inside part of our hand here, usually just where the edge of the thumb muscle sits, just to rest lightly on the string. You don't want it too dead, or you won't get any note, but you don't want it off. It's finding that little balance where you still hear the pitch. It's not this, where it's just like a click. You want the note to ring out, but it doesn't quite ring out as long. And that really helps kind of differentiate the sound of the bass and the melody. It kind of makes it sound like there's two guitar parts going on at the same time. If you struggle with that at the beginning, don't worry about it. Just play it open and add that in later. I don't think it makes it much more difficult, to be honest, and it might help you position your hand well for the whole song. So that first bar. Okay, so thumb is just doing 1, 2, 3, 4. On beat 2, we got first finger going down the 2nd fret of the 2nd string and 3rd finger going down the 3rd fret of the thinnest string. And I put a little curl. It's not a proper bend, it's just a little tweak. Now you don't have to add that curl in if you're struggling with it or you're just new to it. You can leave it out and add it in later. It's completely up to you. So we play 1, 2, 3. And on beat 3, you can see we're playing the thumb, and fingers 1 and 2 will play the thinnest 2 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. So practice it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and keep that thumb as consistent as you can. When you feel like you got that okay and that the notes are all happening at the right time, then you can move on to that second bar. Second bar goes like this. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and Okay, so the thumb and the first finger are playing at the same time. This is the third finger, third fret on the second string. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 3 and 4. First finger and thumb together. Second finger will play the thinner string, and then thumb will play the bass. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Try and make sure that you keep it consistent, even if you have to go real slow. If you find that hard, just be going 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right, that's okay to go that slow if you're getting it right. What you're after is programming all of the fairly complicated muscle instructions that your brain's got to send. So if you get the instructions in the right order at the right time, speeding it up later for the brain isn't difficult, okay? But you want to get it right. Don't practice doing it with a wobbly rhythm, because that's how it'll turn out a little bit later. So once you got the second bar in, then you'd add it to the first bar. So you'd have 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So bar 3 is exactly the same as the first bar, so nice and easy one. But then we're on to bar 4. We've got something interesting. Okay, now this one's a little trickier because we've got a flick off. Third fret on the thinner string, flick off, and then we're going to have thumb and second string played at the same time. And then the thinner string. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Just repeat that bar. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, flick off, 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Then, once you got that bar right, you join it on to all of the others. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now, one thing that I should point out as well, the finger that I use to pick the thinner strings changes a little bit. I would recommend that most of the time you're probably going to play the second string with your first finger and the thinner string with your middle finger. But you don't have to. And I do find myself changing up I don't exactly know why. Just some fingers decide to swap over and play strings. Sometimes I use all just thumb and first finger. That's quite a common kind of blues technique, is just using thumb on the bass and first finger to play all of the melody notes. So experiment and see what feels good for you. So now the chord's moved over to A, but it's essentially the same thing that we've got with the E7, just we're not going to do the little curl there on the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that shouldn't be too difficult. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, thumb is just playing the fifth string now. That's the change. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so here we've gone 1, 2, 3, and got the third finger all of the way up on the fifth fret of the thinner string. And we've got third finger curl again. And then the thumb will play while that's doing the little curl. That's the bit that's going to feel a little bit awkward perhaps. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That section again. So we're back to the E. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So now instead of having our this shape, we're now playing the open thinner string and third fret on the second string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. This is a cool little lick. So right on beat 1, second finger's going to slide back to the second fret. Then you're going to play thumb with the G string, then first finger probably is going to play the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then there's 2 bass notes. So just this section on the E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. Let's see if we can get all of the way through that. It's nice and consistent there, having the chords happening on beat 2 and 3. It's with the thumb, and then we're just making sure that we get those melody notes in the right places between the thumb strokes. So nice and slowly from the beginning of the sequence. I'm going to leave off the intro there while we're practicing this section. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now we're up to the section where we hit the B chord. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to use a bar with the 1st finger to play both the 5th string and the thinner string, but you want it to be a bit round. If you flatten the 1st finger like you're doing like a regular bar chord, you're going to end up with something like that. So actually, the 1st finger is a little rounder than you might expect. Okay, the strings in between are muted. If I strummed it, we're just hearing that and that. Remember, you are picking the notes out with your finger, so it's less likely you're going to get just loads of random strings ringing out. But do try and keep that finger a little bent, partly for what's coming next. So we're going to play that. Then little finger is going to go down on the 4th fret of the 2nd string. And you're going to play that with the bass, and then you're going to lift up that bar a little bit so you can play the bass note and the open B string at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you play the bass again. It's worth just drilling that over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might find it a little bit strange there lifting up the bar, but it's only take a little bit of practice. It is a very useful technique to get under your fingers to approach a B7 chord, because often these solo arrangements are in the key of E, so you're going to meet quite a few different B7s. From the B we move to an A7. So we just got this little melody, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open to 2nd fret on the 2nd string, but all played with the bass note. So connect that with the B. Again, B. Now the little turnaround. Now this is interesting because we got 1 and 2, 3, 4. So the chord is coming after the 1, in between 1 and 2. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1. Again, you're going to use your fingers on the thinnest 2 strings. There on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Just worth practicing these kind of things over and over. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You ready? Let's have a go at seeing if we can get all of the way through the whole tune. If you are learning it, then see if you can get to this point and play along nice and slowly. Remember, there's no extra points for speed here. You want to be just aiming for consistency. Long term, you want to be doing it with a metronome and really making sure it's consistent. But at this point, while you're learning it, just try and keep it, roughly consistent. Try not to speed up and slow down too much. As I mentioned earlier, the common thing is to slow down a lot when there's a tricky bit and speed up when it's a little bit easier. And that doesn't make it very musical. You may well speed up and slow down, but you shouldn't be doing it because a little bit more difficult than another section. Let's take it right from the top, including the intro. So 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So you're almost there. When we play the second time through, we replace the last bar with a slightly different lick just so we have a different ending. So that ending would look like this from the E7. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so all we're doing is going, we're playing second fret with the open strings, second fret open, third fret open. 1 and 2 and. It's the only time we're using that kind of quick part with the bass. And then we're finishing here. This is an E9 chord. You might know E9 like that, in which case you can use that grip if you prefer, but totally alright to use this fingering, whatever. If you're going to not play the 5th string, you want to make sure it's muted with the tip of your first finger. So it's a open string, muted 5th string, 6th fret, 7, 7, 7. You can use your second finger or your third finger. Doesn't really matter. And if you're more familiar already with this grip, you might choose to play that at the same time. So 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Again. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. I'm just going to mention one last time the importance of the consistency of the tempo. When you're learning it, it's okay for it to fluctuate a little bit. Do your best to try and keep that bass note nice and consistent. But if it speeds up and slows down a little bit, it's going to be okay. Just aim for consistency. A good way of testing yourself then, once you're through it, is to play it with a metronome. Playing with a metronome is a really great way of making sure that you're keeping your time consistent, because the metronome's not going to slow down and speed up. It's not feeling it, right? It doesn't care. It's just going to be hammering out that tempo. So playing along with a metronome is a really good idea. It's also, using a metronome is a good way to develop the speed. So you slow it down, play it, and then gradually speed it up to get it to the full tempo. I'm sure you're going to love this new website integration as well, where you can record yourself and then tell if you're rushing or dragging, and making sure that you got the notes right too. So do click on that link below and go and check that out. Once you're through with this one, you might want to go and check out the proper steady thumb blues. Loads of fun. I've got a whole bunch of other of these solo blues style arrangements coming your way too soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. Bye bye.